Hi, my name is Josh Burbank, and I'm doing my book review on sheet music by Dr. Kevin Lehman. Dr. Lehman went to the University of Kentucky, where he earned his bachelor's in psychology. He actually stayed there to earn his master's as well as his PhD from the University of Kentucky. He's largely an entrepreneur, from what I understand. He has over 50 books written and published. He has made the New York Times bestsellers list and has been on shows like Oprah and The Today Show. Sheet Music was published in 2002. It is largely a Christian book, which is fine. It's interesting to see that Christianity and sexuality have kind of a weird relationship. They're taught to repress many urges that they may have growing up, and even after they've fully matured, they're taught to, or they're told to repress it until marriage, which is fine. It works for them. But when they actually decide that now is the right time, and this is the right person, and this is the right thing to do, and they actually start to act on their sexual impulses, they're experiencing themselves sexually for the first time. At the same time, they are experiencing another person sexually. So whereas, you know, somebody else may ease into the whole realm of sexuality, they are taking a 1-2 punch. Not only are they experiencing themselves and another person sexually for the first time, but the other person they're involved with is experiencing themselves for the first time. So this can create a lot of conflict and uncertainty. And sheet music is largely designed to help reduce the tension. It uses anecdotes. It's largely just a collection of stories. The author makes some stories. He makes them up, or some of them are also based off people that have written to the doctor or been in counsel with Dr. Lehman. It's got a good amount of science scattered throughout it, and it ends with a question and answer section, which kind of just shows you the nature of the book, how it's largely meant to map out a lot of this uncertainty that people may have. Not only is it for newlywed Christians, it's also for people who have been married for a long time, and it tells about the importance of time management, and don't lose communication, and the importance of avoiding miscommunication and making time for one another and balancing things like work with your relationship, which is something a lot of adults have to deal with. The book is, I wouldn't say based on scientific evidence. It has a lot of science in it, like I said, but it's largely medical. You could even say it's largely just anatomy and the functions, like anatomy and physiology. What I mean by that is there's not really theories. He doesn't acknowledge any theories of behavior. He really just touches on anatomy, preferences that he claims that each gender has. You know, girls like it this way, men like it this way. He doesn't mention where he got this information, and there is no works cited page, and there's no studies specifically mentioned, but he does have preconceptions of what he believes each sex prefers. So there's anatomy, and there's preferences, and there's also sexual pain disorders. So for people, especially people who are experiencing this for the first time, they may feel pain or discomfort and wonder, is it normal? Is it me? So another part of this book is to address that. However, it's largely largely influenced by Christian morals. One example, which is, like I said, again, fine. One example, he's talking about fantasies, which he addresses pretty much every aspect of sexuality I can think of, and he stresses the importance of how sexuality can be influenced and influence other parts of your life, such as work and just overall happiness. But yeah, there's a lot of Christian morals prevalent in it, and one example of this is anal sex. He had a section devoted to anal sex in the fantasies chapter, and he says just flat out, he's like, it's balanced. He brings science into it. He says that the anus was not designed to be an entrance, and that the tissue can tear easily, and it's just generally not a good idea. And he says the vagina is specifically designed to receive, but he also continues and says it's wrong. And he encourages men to let go of this fantasy, is what he says. And he said that God has designed the vagina perfectly for the penis. There's no reason for that. So he does address fantasies, and he does encourage experimenting in a relationship, but he has certain lines drawn, and a lot of these lines are largely influenced by Christian thought. Like I said, there's no studies specifically mentioned about it, and I kind of disagree with the book on this. I mean, it has a lot to offer. It is a good book. Like I said, it's a largely Christian book, but it's not only for Christians. I just have a disagreement because it is more of what the author says. Like, and what he says could be true, but like I said, when he tells you, the audience, that females prefer it this way, females prefer not to be penetrated during masturbation, that I totally believe. But then again, other things I believed less, and either way, no matter what I believe, he has no sources to back it up, no studies mentioned, no works cited. So I disagree with that because he makes a lot of assumptions. But like I said, he acknowledges very important things such as sexual pain disorder and orgasmic disorder and sexual desire disorder even. I just wish it was, I guess, less influenced by these morals, and I understand that's for the audience, but it was kind of a shaking point for me. But like I said, this is a great book. It's a self-help book, and it's not just for Christians. It addresses many important things, like perspectives of both sexes, how generally the sexes will think about things, such as like men are okay if you want to talk about masturbation for the most part. For the most part, like I said, there's no works cited, studies mentioned. He addresses different social scripts to ease the transition. I said earlier that he doesn't draw on theories of behavior, which he doesn't. He never specifically calls them scripts, but nonetheless, he does lay them out, and they are scripts. He talks about spicing up the relationship, which everybody needs to know about. The body image. Body image is largely influencing sexuality, and sexuality largely influences body image. It's a good book. I got some parts that I would disagree with. Like I said, for example, some of the lines he drew for himself and his audience. Overall, is very helpful. I would recommend this book to my friends, but I would be careful to make sure that they are Christian. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just who the book was written for. And I think it brings a lot to the table for sexually inexperienced people. Like I said earlier, he talks about almost every aspect of sexuality. This includes experimenting with food, fantasies, masturbation. He encourages surprises, open communication about sexuality and each other's wants and needs. And another important thing, sexual turnoffs. He stressed the importance of addressing them and coping with them, either having a compromise, or if you can't compromise on it, then just understand that we shouldn't go there, we can't go there, and that's fine. Every relationship has things like that. Yeah, it's a good book, it's a good read, largely a beginner's guide. And everybody needs a book like that. Some people don't have the benefit of sex education or a sex class. With that said, I have enlisted some of my friends to kind of tell you how this book is supposed to help you out. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching.